Hi you guys, so this is just going to be a resin tips, or showing you kind of what I do when I make resin charms. So first thing I'm going to say is this is kind of a sequel to this movie or this video. So if you haven't checked out this video yet, it's my 10 fun resin tips that I use. Make sure you go check that out first so that it kind of gives you just a little bit more tips, and I will also put the link down in the bottom bar so that you guys can see. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it's helpful. So here we have all our resin pieces that need to be either domed or started or finished. I actually have one doming, one that needs to be started, and then the rest of them need to be finished. So I pretty much, every time I do resin, I pour in a really decent sized batch. So here is what I'm going to be doing. First off, you need to always have some kind of paper towel or napkin or something, rag that you can use just in case you get anything on your hands. What else you're going to be needing is some nitrile gloves and possibly a mask. So let me go get those on. So here's what you guys are going to be needing. Just a regular one of these masks. It's like a painter's mask, so you don't breathe in all the fumes. I believe I got this one at like Home Depot. It's just got a stretchy thing for your face, and then a nose clip. Then next you're gonna need, I got this whole bag of nitrile gloves at this place, so you can pause it and type that in and make sure that you go get yourself your nitrile gloves. So you're just gonna take out 2 gloves and put them on. So I got my gloves on, and the next thing we're going to do is pour even amounts of our resin and the exact same amount of our hardener, which then combines and you stir it up, and then it makes the curable compound basically. You're going to need a stirring stick. I'm just using this like little tool, but I'm using this side of it to stir, and you can also use like any kind of stick that you really want, but make sure that it's got like a smooth edge so that it doesn't leave bubbles inside of your resin. I also have a video that I linked in the beginning of this video that is just 10 resin tips, and it shows a couple things that I use when I do resin. So I'm going to go ahead and pour even amounts of both of those in this cup, which is just my water bottle that is cut in half, and I will be right back. Now a cool trick that I like to use if you don't have like huge measuring cups or measuring spoons that are used for food that you don't really want to use for resin at all. If you use something like a measuring spoon for resin, make sure you never use it for food again. But I hate wasting things like that. So what I like to do, a cool trick that I like to do, is as I'm pouring my resin, your resin bottles, when you buy them, you're going to get a little bit more hardener than you are going to get resin, but you could pretty much be able to tell how evenly you're pouring by looking at, once you pour, you'll see you can see right here, this is where the resin line is here, and this is where the hardener line is here. So you see how one's a little bit taller than the other? That just means that I need to pour a little bit more hardener in. So basically you're just going to lightly pour little by little until you see that it lines up. So you see how that's now about right? So that means that I poured exactly half of resin and exactly half of hardener. So that's just a quick tip to make sure that you're pouring the even amounts so that your resin doesn't end up being tacky because you didn't pour enough of one or the other. So yeah, so let's get stirring. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our little stir stick and our resin, and it looks clear right now. So as you can see, I just poured the resin and the hardener, and it is still clear, but watch what happens when I start to stir. Do you see it getting cloudy? Basically what we're going to do is we're going to stir until it's clear again, or until you don't see any more like little waves basically, like, you know when you pour hot water that's red and cold water that's blue, there will be like a little mix. So you're basically going to stir until you don't see any more differences in the texture of the water or the resin. So you're making sure that you're stirring pretty slowly to make sure that you don't get any excess bubbles or anything that you don't want in here. Because when you get those little micro bubbles, those really tiny bubbles, those ones are really hard to pop. But if you do get those, you can always just pull them out with your stick and then blow on the stick to pop the bubble. Those are for the really tiny ones. The bigger ones, they'll usually float up to the surface and you can just blow on your resin and they'll pop by themselves. But just make sure that you're stirring pretty slowly. Just a quick tip, stickers like these, I don't know if you can tell, but they are puffy stickers, or the stickers that you can kind of sort of squish. These ones float because they are filled with foam, and basically it's like if you were to throw something foamy into a pool, it would float. But stickers like these, which are just the flat, like not puffy stickers, just regular paper, they do not float. But if you put either one of these inside of your resin too early, you run the risk of having them float around and move in ways that you do not want them to move. So unless you're planning on sitting around your resin for a couple hours and babysitting and moving your stickers in place whenever they decide to move out of place, which is just lots and lots of babysitting, I recommend that you wait till your resin is slightly tacky. Give it like 30 minutes after you first poured your resin before you even put your stickers into your resin. So that's just a quick tip. Okay, so I've stirred till there is no more lines and it is all clear again. It's about this consistency. And you'll feel your resin start to get warm or even hot. That is completely normal. That's just the curing process. So now we're going to start pouring. The thing that I'm going to start with are these two. This one is just a regular soap mold. It's just plastic and it has no resin in it. I just went ahead and I painted a face in here just on the plastic. And I'm going to see if the resin will grab the paint and put it on the resin piece. It's just an experimental process. But so first we're going to pour this one, and then we're going to do a doming of this one. I remade this one for a friend, so I'm about to dome the back of it. So it's best to pour a little at a time and then add more later. So especially when you're doming, you don't want to overfill it because then it will overflow and just become a huge mess. So slow and go with the doming. So now that the whole back is covered up, we're just gonna take a little bit more on my stick and pour it on that way. Make sure that I'm not adding too much to overflow it. So I think that's enough. So I'm just basically gonna push this away and not touch it for 12 hours. So this one, it's got a nice thin layer, but I think I'm gonna add a little bit more. If this was just plain and you were going to add only stickers, you were going to do a really thin layer, like maybe half of what it is now. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm doing the painted thing, so I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. And then once it gets tacky, which is in about like 30 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and add glitter to it. And then when I pop it out, I'm going to dome it after that. So let's move on to our next resin pieces. So these ones were floaty stickers. You see how they're puffy? These ones moved, see how some of these have an edge and they moved out into the edge? I didn't want that to happen. That's because they floated around. And sometimes you can't help but floaty stickers to float around even if you put them in after like 45 minutes of letting your resin get tacky. But basically, it's a babysitting game. So we're just going to add another small layer to each of these, and then we're going to add glitter in about maybe an hour to 2 hours. And we're going to help it along by letting the resin go around the mold. And we're going to set those aside as well. Now this one I had put the first layer, then put the sticker, then I had waited till that cured, so about last night it was fully cured, but then I went and I put little puffy paint dots all around it so that it would have like this effect, like a really cute little polka dot effect. But then you have to wait till the puffy paint is fully dry before you can go and add any more resin to it. So another thin layer. And again with this one. And the last one. This one I'm going to be pouring another layer, so I'm going to add dimension to the stickers. So basically I'm pouring in the resin. We're making sure that it's going to all four corners once we move it around. Make sure that you wipe off your stirring stick completely so that you don't have any wet resin that's able to get on your hands. So once it's wiped off, you can just set it aside. Now that we've poured all our resin pieces, if you're just going to put one color glitter, like you're not adding any stripes or different color combinations, you can go ahead and add your glitter now, and you don't have to worry about your glitter seeping in front of the sticker because the sticker is in the first layer, which has already fully cured. So pretty much whatever you do now with it, the glitter is going to either disperse or it's going to sink, but you don't have to worry about it sinking too far. So if you want to add stripes or different color shapes, you're going to have to wait like maybe 2 hours so that the glitter doesn't disperse into the resin. And I will give you an example of how that happens. But yeah, so if you guys don't care about what the back of the glitter looks like, it's just one color, you can go ahead and add the glitter now. But if you want to do something special with the glitter, you're going to wait 2 hours. For this one, I'm just going to add this colored background. It is a Crafty Essential by Joann's. And I'm just going to pour this in all over so it doesn't really matter. Do you see how the glitter disperses like that? If you wanted to do even lines, it's not going to work with such fresh resin because the glitter is just going to spread to all sides. I'm going to add sprinkles to this one as well. Okay, so it's been about 30 to 45 minutes, and now I'm going to put in my stickers. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to do the tacky test, which is you're going to see if the resin has become a little bit more tacky. So you remember how fluid it was, like almost like water in the beginning? Now I'm going to take my little stick, and behind the original sticker I'm going to touch it. Do you see how it comes up and it stays up for a little bit? Now it's tacky, so it's a little bit more sticky. So now we're going to put in our stickers how exactly we want them. and we're going to push them down. The resin will even itself out, and if there's any bubbles that happen, just either put them behind the sticker or take them out. Okay, so now that it's been about an hour and a half and the resin is pretty much not going to move anymore, so you can put whatever glitter you want to in any shape that you want to, and it's not going to disperse. So I've just picked out 5 glitters: a light pink, a dark pink, a purple, a light blue, and a dark blue. And I'm going to start. I'm using these big shaker ones, so I'm just going to put the flat corner. Oops, I just put in the resin. Down on the bottom of the side, and I'm just going to tap my glitter all the way along the side. And it should make a very thin line, just like that. Now you're going to continue to do that with every single color. And the glitter won't move, so you don't have to worry, and just continue to do thin lines until you have the whole thing done. You can also do thin lines with the little bottles of glitter too. You just have to be a little bit more careful. Okay, so this is the finished product, and now that the resin is slightly tacky, it won't move, but the glitter will sink, but it will sink exactly how you laid it. So I'll be back in a couple hours to show you how it turned out. So here are just some examples of how they turned out. The only thing left to do is dome the back of them, but I have a video on doming. I will put that in the link, or I will put that link in the down bar, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. But you can see the fine lines of the glitter. It turns out looking like this. There's this one. There's this one. And these ones are so much prettier in person. The color on the camera is just not quite picking it up. Like this pink right here is a lot brighter. This purple right here is a lot lighter. But there's this one. There's this one. This is just the solid color one that I put this glitter in the background. There's this Sally one that I actually domed, so she's all nice and shiny. There's the Sentimental Circus one that I still need to dome on the back. See how it's all frayed. And last but not least, the Cheshire Cat. I still have to put clay fixtures on him, and dome him. So I hope you guys liked this and found it a little bit helpful. So until next time, bye.